Changamoto ni mingi. Kitu ya kwanza ni daktari. Kitu ya pili ni pia do. Unajua pesa ndio kila kitu. Nianze tu na hiyo do. Hiyo do ndio inaleta huyo daktari hapa. Juu bila do huyo daktari hawezi kuja hapa. So kitu ya pili ni pia wafanyikazi. Huwezi fanyisha mfanyikazi kazi ya bure. Na ikifika mwisho wa mwezi anakuambia anataka do. So lazima mimi nijitume. Kama niyo ng'ombe ilikuwa inatoa lita 5, nijaribu itoe lita kama 20.
Na unapaswa kuwa na veterinary all through. Si ati utasema ati upitie huu mwezi kabla daktari aje kuja kuangalia ng'ombe. Anapaswa kuwa inakuwa monitored vyenye inaendelea. Kwa sababu ya climate change, wakati mwingine kuna magonjwa ambayo inakuja, kuna magonjwa kadhaa, kuna mastitis, kuna other fever ng'ombe inashikwa naye. Sasa daktari anapaswa kuwa kila wakati ana monitor ng'ombe.
The storage is the main important thing in the milk side. If you store it well, then you can process them also well. So processing also is the main part of the farming side. If they have excess quantity of the milk, they should do some other products also. They should go with the bio products.
Na pia vile vile kila wakati boma lako liwe safi, ambapo ng'ombe asipate magonjwa ambayo yanatokana na uchafu.
Wafugaji wamezungumza kwa undani kabisa kwa keto mkubwa, wakisema kwamba wanapenda kuwepo na daktari katika boma lao, hususan kuhakikisha kwamba afya ndio kipaumbele. Ngina, kuna jina umeng'ang'ana nalo sana.
Now, as we start our gold conversation, we do have with us Dr. Collins Papa Osia. The word is Papa. There's a very specific way our guest wants that Papa to be said. So let us give him the opportunity to say it so that we can learn from him. Please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Collins Papa Osia. You know, when you say Papa like Papa, it means fish. So sometimes I feel bad like when you say fish, you know. But when you say Papa, it's more name like.
All right. So yeah. Dr. Collins Papa Osia.
Yes,
Did
Papa.
I get it correct?
Yeah, you are trying.
By the time we are done with the gold conversation, I'm sure I'll be 100% A-okay. Is that okay?
Sure.
Cool. So let us get into the conversation where it's all about the ABC of livestock care. Yeah. Now, my first question to you would be, some, if not most, of our livestock farmers are not very keen in making sure they attend to vet all through. I mean, they just wait until it's too late, something has happened, and then they're rushing to the vet. As a professional and very experienced in this field, why is it very important for them to constantly make sure they check in with their vet services?
Yeah, basically, you know, a cow or any animal is just like us human beings. They have to get clean water, stay in a good weather position, like have good food. So sometimes when we keep these animals at home, these things sometimes they go, you know, the environment is not constant. The food we eat all the time is not constant. Sometimes it's contaminated, or probably the water we are drinking is contaminated. So, you know, a cow or an animal is not, they can't talk, you know. So you need an expert who at least understand the behavior. Like when an animal is sick, like maybe, for example, you have noted like an animal is diarrheaing. You know, you might think just it's a normal diarrhea, but maybe it's a bigger problem. Or maybe you see it coughing and you think maybe it has been choked. Otherwise, maybe it's a bigger problem. So I think a professional is important, and for this matter, I think a veterinarian is the person who has the authority to speak in terms of animal care and also in terms of the health of the animal. You, as a normal farmer, usually you are not allowed to treat your animals by yourself, because this is against even the animal, maybe the Vet Act, you know, because as veterinarians, we have an act that controls us, and we are controlled by a body, the Kenya Veterinary Board. So if you mismanage an animal, because animals also have rights, and sometimes these rights we find people infringing into them. You find like maybe a cow, people, you know, they're using antibiotics the way, you know, they don't observe the weight of the animal in terms of the dosage. They don't know where to inject or how to inject the animal. So you'll find animals suffering, or maybe now decreasing the production. So as a dairy farmer, at least access to professional vet services is one of the key vital important point that we need to put in place before even you think of keeping an animal. Yeah.
Papo hapo Papa, namna umezungumza ni kuulize kwamba ni sharti mkulima awe na daktari moja ambaye anaangalia wanyama wake.
You know there are different categories of vets au madaktari. Kuna wale ambao tunaita paravets ambapo maybe upande wa masomo yao wamefanya maybe certificate course ama diploma course, na kuna wale ambao wanaitwa sasa veterinarians, wale surgeons. So it depends with accessibility. You know, we don't have like our vets ambao wamehitimu like surgeons all over the Kenya, all over Kenya. Like we are very few in the country. So sometimes that is why unapata tunatumia sana paravets. Wale wamesoma especially kwa colleges zetu kusaidia kutibu animals. So our paravets bado wako controlled na Kenya Veterinary Board. So they are supposed to do the correct thing ile wamefundishwa, but kuna baadhi ya maybe vitu kama complicated surgeries, complicated treatment, they have to consult now a professional ambao amezoea hiyo.
Sikujua kuna upasuaji katika.
No, iko upasuaji wa ng'ombe, like sometimes maybe ng'ombe wako anataka kuzaa, ameshindwa kuzaa, so lazima afanywe cesarean section kama tu binadamu.
All right.
Yeah.
Now that you have mentioned that not so many of the vets that we have there have that top skill level, like you're very few, meaning there's somehow a shortage.
A shortage, yes.
What is the best way to mitigate that?
Yeah, to mitigate that, I think before you start dairy farming, I think you need first of all as a farmer also to be informed. Because what I've noted, most of the farmers, they get into dairy farming, but they don't get your professional setup. There are a lot of trainings, there are a lot of seminars, there are a lot of bodies that are champion dairy farming. So I'll really encourage most of the farmers or maybe the youth, if they want to venture into this activity, they first of all get basic knowledge before even they think of owning a cow or maybe keeping one. Yeah.
So as a young person who is getting themselves involved in livestock keeping, and I want to get a vet services, and I want to also make sure I am getting a professional qualified, what are some of the things I need to look out for so that I make sure that, yes, I am talking to the right person who can give me the very correct advice I need for my livestock?
Yeah. So almost all our vets, really nimesema, we are regulated. And okay, sometimes you usually like saying like we have a lot of quacks, wale ambao hawajahitimu, maybe aliona tu mtu akitibu ng'ombe, aliona baba yake akitibu ng'ombe, kaanza kudunga pia polepole akajita daktari. So hiyo ni hatia katika sheria yetu ya Kenya. So what we need to do is wakati you are engaging a professional, first of all wako na ile registration, KVB registration number, na wako na ile kadi ya KVB. So I think that's the first basic thing, because we need to be informed. Bila hiyo kadi ya KVB na hiyo registration, na hata registration sio registration tu, lazima kuwe retained kwa register yetu ya vet. And there are a few criteria that you need to do for you to be retained, like attending professional continuous development courses, making sure you pay the retention fee so that you are allowed to practice by the board.
Okay. Turejelee pale kwa upasuaji. Kusema tu kweli, labda kuna mtu ambaye anataka kuelewa sana ni wakati gani inahitajika sasa kufanya upasuaji, kwa sababu kule nyumbani wakati mwingine tunalazimisha na ndama watatoka kama amekwisha kufa.
Yeah. So okay, upasuaji inatokana na mambo mingi, kwa sababu first of all kuna kitu kwa vet tunaitwa, especially kama ni freshian, unajua kuna different breeds of animals. Na kuna ng'ombe wengine tunawa breed wakiwa na umri mdogo sana, ama ile weight ambayo haijatosha ku breed. Kama like for freshian at least inafaa una breed akifika around 500 kilos, 400 kilos up. So unapata ukianza ku breed na 300 kilos, unapata ule ng'ombe wakati akona mimba, ule ndama kama alitumia mbegu ile iko na bull, anapata bull kubwa. So kuna ile pelvic floor ama pelvic measurements ambao haiambatani na hiyo ndume. So unapata wakati ng'ombe anataka kupata mtoto anashindwa kutoka. So huyo ng'ombe ana struggle, lakini at the end of the day unapata probably ndama katika hatari ya kukufa, ama ng'ombe mwenyewe umpoteze. So ikifika hiyo wakati itabidi muite daktari, na kuna vile kuna ile kusaidia huyo ng'ombe kuzaa. Unaona? Kuna vile huwa tunafunga, tunavuruta, tunavuruta ule ndama tunamsaidia. Lakini saa zingine huyo ndama maybe, unajua ndama akitoka lazima kwa position fulani.
Okay.
Labda kuna kitu inaitwa breech presentation kwa human medicine. So wakati huyo ng'ombe maybe hayuko aligned vizuri vile Mungu mwenyewe aliumba atoke, maybe ameturn.
Okay.
So lazima afanywe either hiyo cesarean section. Na cesarean section lazima ifanywe katika a sterile condition, na lazima daktari afanye hiyo surgery preparation, ambapo ng'ombe atakatwa, then watoe ndama, then ashonwe, survive. Then in that all, of course, it's a surgery process. Unajua kwa surgery lazima ukuwe na anesthesia, lazima ng'ombe uprevent asisikie uchungu. So nimesema ng'ombe wako na rights zao. Na right ya kwanza ni they should be alleviated from pain.
Okay.
Ng'ombe asisikie uchungu ama kuku ama bata ama anything. Ukiona wengine wanaweka kuku ama ng'ombe juu ya gari, lazima kuwe transported. So pain alleviation is one of the role of vets.
All right. Now listen to you speak. You have mentioned about how if you are a young person, you're trying to get into livestock keeping, it's also very important to learn, to get more knowledge, which will also help you when it comes to acquiring vet services. When you're advising your farmers, do you advise them anything in regards to insurance, helping them learn about that aspect? Because you realize you only have most of the large-scale farmers engaging in insurance for their animals. Now, how our small scale, kidogo ni kama that's very new to them.
Yeah, I think that is one of the biggest challenges we are facing in our country in terms of dairy farming, in terms of youths or many people getting into this, because of the initial capital also which is required. It's quite high, and access to these financial services sometimes, it's not easy because hawako kwenye organized groups, ama wewe mwenyewe huwezi amka tu uende kwa bank useme nataka pesa upatiwe. So what I'll encourage the youth, especially mashinani, the government has worked quite a lot to formalize youth groups, youth groups ambapo wataweza pata financial assistance. Like currently Equity Bank, they are offering dairy farming loans whereby you can register as a group, then you go and get a loan there as a group. Then also Kenya Women Finance Trust, I think that one, there's a way they can give you a loan there. Because I think kitambo, I used to work with another NGO in North Rift and South Rift regions, whereby we really used to mobilize a lot of youth in terms of farming. So the government ili amend pia Cooperative Act, at least to ensure that cooperative societies, they are being taken care of in terms of embezzlement of funds. So if you go especially to areas of the Rift Valley, there are a lot of established cooperative societies, Mount Kenya, Meru, ambapo I'll encourage the youth to use these cooperatives in order to acquire loans, whereby they can now get money to venture into dairy farming. Because the beauty of being in a cooperative society, first of all, you'll be in an organized market. Umeelewa? Then kama ni kuuza maziwa pale, unajua wanasema 80% of milk sold in Kenya, it's sold in the informal sector. Informal market, that is. Only maybe around 20% it's sold in the formal one, like the what do you call the Brookside, the KCC, these milk bulkers companies here. So unapata, when they are into the informal sector, it's very difficult for them to access loans. Umeelewa? But wakiwa kwa cooperative society, wakiwa within maybe in an organized setup, they can access loans and they can get into dairy farmers. Not only loans, but also the vet services, because they can link up these cooperative societies, which sometimes have agrovet shops, whereby if they need any inputs to use for their animals, they can get the inputs from there, then they pay through check-off monthly here. But ukiuza tu kila siku maziwa, 50 shillings, 20 shillings, you know that money you use it very fast. But kama unapata kwa dairy plant, kwa hiyo milk cooling plant, unapata it's organized.
Asante. Asante sana. Unaendelea kutazama Kenya's Gold bila wasiwasi. Najua umepata mshtuko kwamba kuna upasuaji kwa ng'ombe. Usikwende popote, kuna mengi ambayo yanakuja ikiwemo muhtasari.